Hi, everyone, and welcome to my review of The Great Wall, starring Matt Damon, who I do like as an actor, maybe not so much as a person, but when we saw these trailers that were coming out a few weeks ago, we know it was Universal, Legendary coming together, and Legendary's known for producing some really fun, big epic action movies like the Dark Knight trilogy and Godzilla. And I loved Pacific Rim and the mixture of cultures coming together, everybody, peace, love. But when I saw the trailers to this film and you see Matt Damon and it's a period piece, but it's an action adventure with monsters and this great wall of China. But when you see Matt Damon up there and suddenly you see he seems like he's the only white person in this whole movie, full of very talented and beautiful Chinese people. And it's coming from a director that I love. One of the great directors, in my opinion. Here's a picture. Here's his name. I'm not going to butcher it. But I love this guy. Whether he's making dramas like To Live, Not One Less, Riding Alone for Thousands of Miles, The Road Home, and then making action movies like Hero and House of Flying Daggers. In my opinion, this guy is one of the best directors living today. So the only real excitement I had for this movie, I was very scared, but I had excitement, and I was going to see it because I'm a huge fan of this filmmaker. He's one of the greatest filmmakers working today, and he's made so many amazing films. Please, if you have no desire to see The Great Wall, and I perfectly understand that, but if you have no desire, please look up this filmmaker and check out his dramas and his action movies in his native tongue, in his country. They are some of the greatest movies ever made, in my opinion. Some of the great foreign language movies ever made. Some of the great, just all-around incredible filmmaker, incredible storyteller. And I just love him. So I really just wanted to see The Great Wall, not because of Matt Damon, not because they put a white guy in there, which to me didn't fit at all, but the director himself. And now that I have seen The Great Wall, which is about the Great Wall of China and this mysterious creature, green dragon-like creatures that are trying to go over the wall to kill the Chinese people and their culture and their way of life and stuff like that. So that's the general thing. But, so we're thrust in this world, and I would have rather, honestly, now that I've seen the movie, and I will tell you that I kind of found some enjoyment in the film, of course. Good stuff, and there's a lot of bad stuff. But what I didn't, I just wish I would have rather, and the movie is in English and with subtitles, which I would have rather seen a movie, of course. It probably wouldn't have had that mainstream feel for an audience. We got to fit in Matt Damon and get the audience in here through Matt Damon, the American audiences at least. But I honestly would have loved the same kind of movie with the action and the suspense and the thrills and the subject matter of it being centered around the Great Wall of China. But I would have loved an all-Chinese cast in subtitles. And I think this could have been one of the greatest action adventure dramas ever made. Because you expect that from this filmmaker. Because he's great doing dramas and he's great doing action. And we mix it together. We have Hero and House of Flying Daggers. Trust me, if you haven't seen those movies, just check out Hero and House of Flying Daggers. They have more mainstream appeal than his other films, even though I think his dramas are, to me, more important than Hero and House of Flying Daggers. But anyways, back to The Great Wall. The Great Wall seems like it's very unfinished. Now, it is well-paced, and the story is easy enough to follow that you do care if you are involved. The movie's about an hour and 40 minutes. It gets right to it. We meet Matt Damon. We get to see the wall. We get to see the creatures. We get to see this overall adventure, and there's some really great visuals. But when it comes to the special effects, I felt like it really wasn't finished. Like they ran out of money or something, because sometimes it looks really good. Sometimes it looks really terrible. Never really looked great. Even though I like the design of the creatures, I'm a big sucker for monster movies, and I thought the monster movies looked cool. I thought the monsters looked cool, but weren't really totally convinced by them altogether. And I appreciate that it got a little more violent when they were killing the monsters, though I wish the movie kind of got up the ante with an R rating with violence, and we could have seen some humans getting destroyed as well in more of a violent way. It would have brought more emotion, the more power, But I like the conflict between the monsters and the people of China. It was really interesting, and I don't know how based it is in any legend that was, it's not. I know it's not the reason why the Great Wall of China was built, but they speak about mythology, and we're all into mythology, and I just feel like this was just a cash grab, to bring in Matt Damon, hopefully get the American audiences. If it does anything at all, maybe I don't know if it'll even do that, because maybe people don't like it. They won't. They won't go, oh, I like this director now, and I'll go check out his other stuff. And that's quite a shame. It makes me sad. It makes me really sad. Matt Damon is so miscast in this movie. He's just gives one of the worst performances of his career. I did not really care about him, and it was just a lot of one-liners with his buddy. He had like a guy to follow on that he was going on this venture with. And I like this actor. This other guy that's in the film, I've seen him. He was in Narcos. And he's been in some other films, and I like him, but they're just like one-liners off each other, and most of the film is full of these really bad one-liners, and the comedy is not terrible, it's not offensive, it is just unforgettably not funny. What else? The story is pretty straightforward. I'm not going to go in detail, I don't want to spoil too much, but if you've seen the trailer, then you kind of have an idea of what this movie is about. There's really no super duper surprises about it at all. I think it's just a shame that you have all these talents, and I appreciate that the movie is cast, that it's not just a bunch of white people playing people from China. I'm glad that the people from China are being played by people from China. I really do appreciate that. So I guess it's a mixture of American cinema and Chinese cinema coming together. But for me, I would have rather just a straightforward, same, with the ventureness of the monsters and the wall and all this stuff. I almost wish it was just completely Chinese. Completely foreign to the American way of life. I would have appreciated that, because it would have been made more of an interesting film, something that grabs you emotionally and takes you off into a new world and shows you a side of the world in a different way, even though, this movie is based in the reality of the Great Wall of China, but then it's the fantastical part about it as well, as you are getting to know these creatures and where they're coming from. And they were pretty cool, and I like that kind of setup, but then that's even predictable with the way the creatures are set up, and you have to, if you defeat one, then you defeat them all kind of thing. And I've seen it before, and it's just a shame, because this is one of the greatest filmmakers, in my opinion, of all time. And this is one of his worst films of all time. But if you compare all his masterpieces to this, the movie is bad, but it's at least entertaining in a weird way, with some cool visuals, and it's well-paced enough that you can actually get into it really easily and enjoy it for what it is, and maybe forget it after you've seen it. So I didn't completely hate this movie, because ultimately I was entertained by it. Not because it was funny, mainly because it wasn't boring, and thanks for that. I kind of enjoyed the film, but just wanted more from it, expected more from it, especially being from this amazing, talented director. I don't know what went wrong. I'll be interested to find out if he had any creative control or whatever, or he was just a hired hand, because the movie, he's a Chinese great director from China, and they're making a movie in China. We got to hire a Chinese director. Maybe he's just a hired hand and didn't really have a chance to make it his movie. Maybe it was more of Legendary's movie, and that's quite a shame, because there's a lot of talented people in this film, and they deserve to be in something better. For that, since I was mildly entertained, for the most part, and it went over really fast, and I did like some of the creatures in this movie, it was kind of cool, even though the special effects wasn't that great, I'm going to give The Great Wall, which surprisingly wasn't in 3D, because there were so many opportunities to have this movie in 3D, I will give it 2.5 stars out of 4. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, and share this video. And also, please check out these amazing movie websites. And if you enjoyed this review, please click here to subscribe to my channel, and also please check out all my recent reviews right here on YouTube. Have a great day, live film, find peace, happiness, and harmony in anything and everything you do, and I'll talk to you at my next movie review.